All right. Hey guys, how was Christy?
Good.
Was it good? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm excited to go listen to the recording. I know she had some real fun girls on her team too, and I was like, it'd be fun to do a little thing where we could do some cross team pacing too. You guys can meet some Canadians. Okay, good. So this is the recording is starting. We're starting about 10 minutes late because our sponsor and call had a little bit of technical difficulties, but this is really it's our time management call, and it's all about, you know what, I'm going to move. The sun is coming in really bright. It's all about how you can stay consistent by scheduling your business. So whether you are watching the recording and you are working full time and you have to fit this in to just, you know, a little bit of time every day or a few hours a week, or whether you are doing it like many women on this call right now, Amanda, Liz, Charlotte, and Avril, who are wanting to work your business full time and make it as big as it can get. It really is all about kind of being smart with your hours. And I constantly evolve my schedule based on need. So I obviously did a big change this past from fall to spring. I felt like my coaching style was getting stale. The method I had used for years just was, you know, just getting, I feel like, not as helpful to you all. And so I was like, you know what? I wish I could get all of these strong people together. I wish I could get these four on this call are a perfect example. Like, you all have such great ideas, and I'm like, oh, I wish Charlotte would have heard that, or I wish Avril would have heard that, or Liz needed to totally hear that, or Amanda needed to hear that. Like, it really is, it's such a resource. So I evolved it based on need. But my basics of my schedule, I'll run through really quick, and I know most of you on here right now know what my schedule looks like, but I'll share it for those of you who don't, because I know you have a lot of team members on here. Mondays are always my personal business. I found back in the day, I tried to do excuse me. I tried to dive right into coaching because it's the thing I love the best. So it's the thing I wanted to go to right away on Mondays. But I always found that, first of all, it didn't feel authentic because I didn't have my personal business straight. So it's hard to coach to something that's not going strong in your own business. And secondly, I was just antsy. So like the whole time I was talking to people, I'm like, oh, I gotta call this hostess. I need to take care of this. All those little like crossing of T's and dotting of I's weren't done. So my coaching wasn't as effective because I wasn't coming from a place of feeling like I had really knocked out my to-do list. So Monday mornings for me, a lot of actually leaders do this on the Sunday morning. Sundays are pretty sacred for my family. I love going to church with my boys and having a big, you know, lunch afterwards and having family nights on Sunday nights. So I don't do this Sunday. But Monday morning when I sit down, first thing I do is my to-do list. So I sit down at my table and I'm going to write down everything that I need to get done. And then I'm going to prioritize it to the highest value activities over low value activities. So for a lot of you on this call, and especially a lot of you who are newer leaders, figuring out what our high value activities are versus low value is going to be one of the things that's going to change your business the most. I see it already and we all fall into these traps, and I'm falling into it too sometimes, is we get in reaction mode versus proactive mode. So we get into where, and you all are, women on this group are such great leaders that y'all can't help but answer questions people are posting on the thread. You can't help but immediately kind of stop what you're doing and react. But it actually takes 20 minutes to come back from a distraction. So that's while you're being super helpful, and we all as selfless leaders want to do as much as we can for others, it's putting a major halt to whatever activity you were just in the middle of. So as much as you can time block your business and don't have your email open, don't have your Facebook open, don't have anything that's going to stop you in your tracks, because it will end up taking you 10 times longer to get through what you were going to get through. So I just mentioned earlier today that I had a 45-minute window. I was supposed to have a call with Danielle, and it ended up getting canceled because she didn't have reception where she was. And so it opened up 45 minutes, and I just sat down and just started plowing through a list. I was like, I knew I was going to go to my customers later, but I just went through my Facebook messages to people that I've talked to over the past couple of weeks and just sent them a really quick message about the sign-on special ending, and then also a little hostess incentive. And I got 112 people done in 45 minutes. Now, if I had tried to do that in 15-minute blocks, I probably would have gotten to 10 people. You know what I mean? So it was just having that block where I didn't do anything else. I could hear my phone pinging. I could hear y'all messaging back and forth. I could hear people messaging me, but I just plowed through. I didn't take my eye off the prize. So that's one thing. If you can time block, that goes really far. The distraction thing, even though you think you only looked at the J. Crew sale for 10 seconds, it will take you 20 minutes to get back to work before you started it. So I highly advise, don't start your day reading your email or reading your Facebook thread. Don't start your day unless you need an idea and you're going to the thread to get an idea of what to do today. Don't start your day like that. Start your day with your to-do list, with your high value activities. And if you're wondering what your high value activities are, if you do not have a trunk show calendar that you want right now, if it's not where you want it to be, that's a top priority. If sponsoring consistently is a goal for you, which is absolutely a goal for this group, and you don't have a lot of active conversations happening, let's make up a new list. Let's find some people to reach out to about the opportunity. If you are where I was coming off of the fall, where I had talked to everybody that I had met at shows about the opportunity, and I hadn't really had a lot of new shows, I booked pop-ups because I needed to get in front of people. So high value activities are booking, sponsoring, and figuring out, are those holes filled? Because that's what personal day is all about. Tuesday, you can worry about the coaching piece of it, but Mondays are all your personal business. What are you doing? Obviously, we've got these great Monday night calls that you want to do a quick reminder for your team, but that's something you can very quickly go on there and post. These great calls are available tonight, or even if you have a team call, that's fine. But during your time block, it's how am I going to book trunk shows and how am I going to sponsor new stuff? How am I taking actions that are going to reach out to those, or am I just asking 10 people some creative words to say, or am I actually taking those words to say and doing it with it? Raise your hand, how many people have asked for words to say and never done a thing with them? I do it all the time. Like, someone will be like, I just sponsored 15 people. And I'm like, tell me what you're doing. They tell me and I do jack with it. And I'm like, okay. Just osmosis of you telling me isn't going to bring the stuff to me. I actually have to take the actions. So Monday, I can't stress enough that it's such a great feeling, because normally, I remember back in the day, Danielle coached too, and this is something that probably will work for a lot of you who have super busy schedules, but doing 2 reach outs a day. I would rather do the reach outs all on Monday and have the other days pocketed for other things than spreading out my reach outs throughout the week. So that's kind of my first goal. Tuesday's team. Tuesday's all about team. I am focusing I call it semester, even though I'm not a teacher anymore. This semester, so basically between now and Hoopla, the Mavens are my top priority. So you guys have my Tuesdays. And then Wednesday is really about getting out of the house. So whether it's going to have lunch with a new stylist, whether it is doing a pop-up somewhere, I'm really trying to work these pop-ups every Wednesday into my schedule. But it's getting out of the house. After 2 days of sitting in my office, I feel like I've gotten a lot of good stuff done on those 2 days. I want to get out and get fresh air and meet new people and get outside my social circle and that sort of thing. Thursday now has become my coaching day for my non-mavens. So this is something that has always been probably my weakest point. I get so focused in on the workers, and I talk to you guys 15 times a week, and then I have even a leader who's not on calls, who I'm like, haven't seen or talked to in 6 months. Like, that's not acceptable. So Thursday now is my second coaching day, and that's going to be more on the fly coaching. So that's going to be more of a sorting of reports and figuring out who's doing what, maybe sending out some kudos messages. I'd love to chat with you. Congrats on earning your $100 in free product. That's amazing. I'd love to kind of hear what's going on in your life and catch up for 5 minutes, what works for you, and kind of get those conversations going again. So it's going to be a lot of kudos, but also a lot of pick up the phone and call people and tell them how great they are, or have a conversation with them. So a lot of that more on the fly coaching, but it's still scheduled. I have learned that if I don't schedule it, it's not going to happen. I am not a good on the fly coach. I think a lot of people call people randomly throughout the week, but I feel like when you aren't following a to-do list, if you aren't following some kind of a system, you always feel overwhelmed. You always feel like there's balls flying everywhere. So you never feel any satisfaction from crossing off the list. So that's really kind of what that has turned into. And I typically will try to do my trunk shows on Thursday nights. And then Friday back to kind of getting out of the house, whether it's a pop-up on a Friday morning, which I'm all about the pop-up now, you guys. Three new stylists from pop-ups that were totally random. Didn't know. Well, one was a yoga teacher. I think she's probably going to end up being a kidnapper, but the other two are actually doing stuff. So I would definitely make that your priority. Avril, I should have followed your lead a long time ago on that. That's actually super smart. So I would love to hear from you. What are your biggest hiccups when it comes to scheduling your business? Like, what keeps you from doing things consistently?
Can I go first just because I have to hop off in a couple minutes to get on with Colleen?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 questions. One, you do everything personal on Monday, booking, conversations, order follow-ups, customer reach outs, hostess coaching, anything to do with your business is done on Monday?
Yep. Absolutely.
Do you feel like you always have enough time to fit it all in? Like you don't get stuck on one thing and then the other thing kind of gets pushed to the side?
If I got, for example, I didn't have any hostess coaching to do this week. I mean, I had a couple of texts, but I did all the major invitations for February so far last Monday. So that didn't take as much time this week, if that makes sense. Of course, things can trickle down into other days if you don't get to them. But if you actually look at the things that you're doing, like hostess coaching and, reaching out to 20 more people for shows, if you've got that time blocked, you can usually get it done if you're not getting distracted and you're not kind of taking your eye off the prize. It depends on who you're reaching out to, obviously, and you have to figure out what's your highest value activity. But yeah, of course, things will always trickle over. I did, like yesterday, I meant to kudo my new girl who launched on Sunday, and I didn't get to it. And so today, that's on my to-do list after this call.
So are you waiting a whole week to do your follow-ups then? Or are you doing follow-ups on Tuesday?
I am doing, so everybody that shopped with me, I met people on Wednesday and Thursday, my pop-up and my sample sale. They've already gotten messages from me today because I'm talking to them about the sign-up special. So typically that would be on a Monday, and I did do a lot of them yesterday, but I'm doing a lot of, hey, just wanted to make sure this is the last chance kind of deal. But are you talking about—
What about your second touches? Sorry.
Oh, no. That's like that was on my to-do list today too. I did a little bit of that today. I would say today's a little bit more of a unique day because I'm trying to mass sponsor today and also get orders in.
Yeah.
But those are things that can trickle over into Thursdays and Fridays too. So if I don't get them done, and maybe if you have, for example, people, let's say I have a Thursday night trunk show and people got their stuff the next Tuesday, that might be a Thursday morning, sit down and do all that with those customers.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I know you've told me the schedule 100 times. I know all these things. I know what actions to take. I have the words to say. I have the list of people. I have way more than enough people to reach out to. I just get extremely overwhelmed. Analysis paralysis from my anxiety. I just literally look at it and I'm like, I cannot physically contact with these people. And so I just freeze. I know that's in my head, but that's kind of where I get stuck.
Yeah, it's actually super common, Liz. And like I said, there was a major shift in my business that year that I sat at Hoopla. And I realized that most people in this business do spurts of action. And that if I actually worked consistently, and if I just did what I could in each day, not anymore, like I wasn't doing anything superhuman. I'm not always reaching out to 120 people in 45 minutes. That was something I just did today because I had to run some mass numbers today. But if I just put one foot in front of the other and then just do one step at a time, that's all I need to do. And you actually might benefit from doing yoga because this morning I knew I had a really important day. I knew I needed to feel very zen. So as soon as I dropped Brandon up at school, I came home. I didn't have time for a long thing, but I did a 25-minute yoga video. And I actually laid there in Shavasana, and did the deep breathing and just calmed everything down. And then when I got on to do that, I would plow through that list of 112 people because I was coming from a very calm, just do it.
I have a tip too. Sorry, Kelly, I thought you were finished.
Go ahead, talk.
The other thing, I have the same problem. I definitely get overwhelmed, and my reaction to overwhelm is getting frozen and doing nothing. And that actually was happening to me last month where when I was, really diving back into my business after the holidays, I was all full speed ahead on sponsoring and thinking okay, well, if they say no to the opportunity, I'll book with them for January. Then I got a week and a half later and the bookings just were not panning out for January. And I was total panic mode because I had no sales. So anyways, my point is that I do the same thing and I freeze up. What's really helped me with that is doing that brain dump to-do list, because I would guess that you're feeling sort of the same way, where you have like all these tasks in your mind that are like rolling around, and you're like, oh, I need to do this. And it's like so overwhelming. So I just like literally make a brain dump and write down all the things. The key is that you have to like accept that you're not going to finish them all in a day. Like you might not even finish them all in the week, right? Like you just get them all written down so that they can stop floating around in your head and you can like focus. And then what I do is I look at the list and I ask myself, okay, what are the top 3 things that I need to do? And then I like write them on a separate note and like, this is what I have to do today. And then I check that off, and I check that off the master list. Obviously, I also get a lot of satisfaction off of checking things off of lists. I'm like, yes, I can check it off of 2 lists now.
I write it down even if I've already done it, so I can cross it off.
Yeah. And then
small note. I think that's so smart.
Yeah, like when I finish the small list, okay, then I kind of go back, reevaluate what are like the next things. And then meanwhile, maybe I'm even adding more things as they pop into my head. So it's like you're always kind of working through these lists. And just like being okay with not getting it all done, but like doing as much as you can. Totally. And knowing that like, okay, I feel good as like I completed the 3 most important things. And that's like the best that I can do that day.
Yeah, I totally
agree.
The
smallest is huge, because then I look at the big list and I'm like, wait a second, like this is supposed to help me. Now I feel just as stressed again. So having like just the itty bitty bite-sized piece. Thank you. I have to go, guys. I don't want to. I need this so bad. So keep talking, and I'm going to watch the recording later.
That sounds good. Good luck.
Bye.
Yeah, good luck, Liz.
Okay, good. So love that idea, Charlotte. Avril, how about you? Tell us your method, because you're super organized. You've got a good system going. Tell us what you're doing.
To help, because I guess some people know that I have to deal with this on a daily basis, but for some it might be new, so maybe it'll be comforting. But I have to deal with anxiety every day. So for me, it's not even an elective. I have to figure out ways to get my brain to work. So this one has been helping. I started it just late into the holiday season. Of course, you can't see it. It's the High Performance Planner by Brendon Burchard. I'm sure you guys have seen it show up on Instagram and such. Give it a try. So for example, what you're chatting about, Charlotte, what it does, it takes the brain work out of it for you. So it's very strategic. So you could plan your month ahead, do your weekly reviews. It's not just a journal, it's not just a planner, it's like a combination of both, and also a productivity tool. So to give you a quick idea, like this is like today. So it says, what's your message to yourself? What's your top 3 priorities? What task that has to be, absolutely must be done today? What persons do I need to connect with today, and how to do it? How can I do it well? Then of course you have the time blocking, which we know it makes such a big difference. You have the morning mindset. So like for you, Kelly, just being able to start out well, which for me, it's extremely important, to the point where I had to text Jess last night until I cannot do evening calls anymore, because after 8, I have to shut it down, or else I don't even sleep. So you have your morning mindset. Example, what's one thing I can get excited today? What one bold action? And then of course, just on all aspects of your life too. Like for example, what someone I could surprise with a gift, a note, or sign of appreciation today. So it kind of encompasses every aspect of your life, which is like really important for me right now. And then in the evening, you have your evening journal. So you're going through your day, and it'll ask you, so you're taking notes over time, and you keep them. So it's a great reference point where you could go season after season and see how you've progressed. But like in the evening, a moment I really appreciate today was a situation or a task I handled really well today. Because I think Charlotte has mentioned that, and I know I do it, a lot of us do it, where we tend to forget the wins. And it's so important for your brain to remember that I actually did something well, especially when you have that list. You will 9 times out of 10 never get it done, but we get caught up with the things we didn't get done, and we don't remember that, okay, but I actually did this and this. I need to get better, I need to improve. I did it. And then it gives you like a scorecard, like clarity. I knew my why and I lived intentionally today. You give yourself a number: influence, courage, necessity, energy, you know? So highly recommend giving it a try. It's not pricey. It's like $14.
Just order it on Amazon.
Each one is 2 months. You could like stockpile them for 6 months at a time. So if I've been buying like one each, but I wanted to test it out to see. And it gets to the point where when you don't do it, you actually miss it. So do I do this consistently every day? No. But by day 2, not only do I miss it, I see the effect where, because I cannot mentally handle things all over the place. I just cannot anymore.
I'm so excited for it. I've been like I use one of Brandon's extra binders and threw paper in it because I'm not a do it on my computer girl. I feel like I run through Spiral Notebooks so fast. Like, I'm so excited for this journal. That's actually a really great gift for your up and coming leaders too. It's $15. You can send it.
I was thinking of getting it for my guys too. Like, I share stuff like that with them. And
That would be a fun, like, associate stylist promotion gift or something like that.
Yeah. And I still use the notebook, you know, for like breaking down things and like crossing off the list or whatever, but just give it a try. It's made a huge difference for me, that's for sure.
I'm so excited. That is great advice. Okay, Charlotte, what else do you do?
I think the other thing that I do, because I still think I mentally have a little bit of like your framework, but for me, oftentimes like with teaching Pure Barre or just other things that are going on, a lot of times like week to week my days are different, which to me, it's awesome because like, that's why I like doing this business full time, is because I like having the flexibility. So like last week, for example, Brad had an overnight trip to Clemson and I didn't really have anything that I needed to be here for. So I just like jumped in the car and went with him. But like, because of that, I kind of had to adjust my schedule. So I ended up doing a bunch of work on Saturday to make up for not really doing that much on like Thursday evening or Thursday afternoon and Friday. So I think like it's helped me to I think just in general, it's helped me to have that master to-do list and identify like what the priorities are, because there were a couple things that I were like, these are non-negotiables that I have to get done, like some follow-ups and reach outs. And, I do like a customer newsletter blast that I was like, these have to get done. So on Saturday, I just sat down and cranked them out. And to me, it's like, I'm not sad that I worked on a Saturday mid-morning because I had like a fun Thursday and Friday. And like, that's like the beauty of this business.
Yeah, I love that. And one thing I'm scheduling in now is the building a brand. Like, I feel like that's something I've been more like on the fly about. Usually I'll just like post an Instagram picture if I saw a cute one that someone else posted or something like that. But you're really getting to the point of building a brand, doing a lot of public posts, whether they're Instagram or Facebook. So that's just a total aside, but you're so right. And I love the flexibility too. Like I will absolutely tell you on Fridays, a lot of times I'll go out to lunch with my girlfriends. So I might get up and work 3 hours in the morning or do a pop-up. And then at 1:00 I am taking off and starting my weekend. So if you're smart with it. And so actually, you know what, let's talk some ideas for the people who work full time, because I think we can show them how. Everyone on here might be like, well, that's great. If I had all day, I'd do great. But I'll tell you, some people actually say the more time you have, the harder it is. Reagan Montgomery was a star on our team, and she's still a leader on our team. And she took off from teaching and tried to do this full time. And she was like, she gets so much less done. She had less trunk shows, less sponsoring. And she's like, I did not know how to organize my days. So don't always think the more time you have, that the more you'll get done. Sometimes, I think a lot of times, the busier you are, the better.
Yeah, for me, that's one of the reasons why like teaching Pure Barre works so well for me with this business, because it gives me like, you have to do something that puts structure into the day. So for people who work full time, you have that structure built in. So it's figuring out what's going to work the best for your schedule, whether that's picking, you know, if you have a lunch break, could you do work on 1 or 2 lunch breaks during the week? Or could you pick 1 or 2 evenings where you spend 1 hour like right after work or in the evening, but like scheduling when it's going to be that you do those high value activities and just making it part of your routine.
Totally. I think too, a lot of people who have drives to and from work, I think that's such critical time to absorb information. So, especially if it's a time where you can't be doing reach outs, if you have very limited time to work your business, you don't want to spend that time necessarily training or learning. Like you can train or learn when you're working out, when you're driving, when you're sitting in carpool line, when you're doing something where you can't be doing a reach out. So reach outs are obviously always your top priority. Reaching out for trunk shows, reaching out for sponsoring conversations, that sort of thing is what you should do. If you have very, very, very limited time, that's what you're doing with your free time. But if you do have stuff to learn, and this is always, all of us do, by the way, have a lot to learn. It is doing that in the moments where, because it doesn't matter how busy your day is, we all have those moments where it's dead time. We're sitting in traffic, we are driving home. And so, for example, if you're part of this group and you're like, Lori said to me this morning, she calls me, she's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so behind with the Zoom calls. And I'm like, and she was calling me and we're chit-chatting back and forth. I'm like, okay, well, let's pop off this call. I'm doing reach outs. You go listen to a Zoom call on the rest of your drive to work. And just think about that. If there's 4 to 5 of these a week and you're driving 5 days a week to and from, you could absolutely listen in to every single one of these every single week in very, very limited time. The other thing I think you can schedule in for that busy, like dead time where you can't actually do reach outs, like at the gym, is listen to podcasts, listen to things that are inspiring. Avril, I think you do a lot of this. You do a lot of, especially with your anxiety and understanding the way your brain works and, how you can keep control of it. You are constantly seeking out information. So that's a good time to listen in on some of the Facebook Lives that Jessica and them do, or some of the training calls that you might have missed. If you're a Star Plus, maybe you missed that Star Plus leader call. That is something that is a must on my to-do list. Every Monday at 1, I am going to be on that leader call. And so if you are working at that 1 o'clock time and you can't get on that leader call, then it's absolutely something that you need to listen to the recording on, because it's just keeping it in your head, keeping those ideas coming, keeping the thoughts going. The more you kind of surround yourself with it, the better. So that's kind of my tips for that. You can do this. Sarah Field is a great example. She has a powerhouse job, works very, very, very full time, and she has always been able to maintain a $10,000 a month plus business. And she worked her way to senior director with in very limited pockets of time. So one thing after this special is done, time management wise, the place you're going to probably sponsor without a special is going to be, it's going to be from reach outs, but it's also going to be at your shows. So our goal really after today is to book as many February shows as we can, those shows and pop-ups, and get out there and meet people to sponsor. So that's going to really be kind of our plan of action after today. But this is something you can do very, very limited. So if you're like, I can't even begin to look at those Marco Polos, don't listen to the Marco Polos. That's something that is not necessarily to be on the thread. The Zoom calls I think are super helpful. I got so many great ideas from you. I've got a fancy new planner coming that I'm so excited about. I think I'm going to actually get back on and order several more. But yeah, it's really, you guys, it's about consistency. It is literally like working out, which has always been my nemesis. It's why I have committed myself to 5 days a week minimum of hot yoga every day, because if I don't have that, where it's a must do on my schedule, I won't do it. And this business is the same way. If you just have it scheduled and you do it over and over and over and over again, it will come. There's no way the business will not come if you do it consistently. I would tell you that most people in this business don't do it consistently. They do pockets of reach outs when they need shows, and then they stop reaching out and they just wait. And then all of a sudden they come to a dead halt again and they have to start all over again. Just do a little bit every day, have scheduled high value activities, and your business will consistently roll. And that doesn't mean you're not going to hit bumps. We all do. We all have cancellations. We all have trunk show calendars that aren't as big, but if you're consistently reaching out, it's impossible for the snowball not to grow. Okay, guys, it's 1:10. So, go ahead, Avril.
Time or no?
Yeah, we got some time. Yep.
I get that question from the guys on my team all the time. So I guess it's probably a good way to end, where we know what we need to do. So one of the things we've been chatting about is I try to help them remember the fun of it. Because if you keep going back to why you're doing it, this doesn't become that one more thing on your list, especially if you have a full life. So these are for the people that have that full, and we all do. It's just we have different things in the day. If you remember why you're doing it, whether it's just shopping for free every month, like I always tell them, I'm like, this is crazy that you get to shop for free every single month, right? But whatever it is, just keep remembering that every month. You remember why you're doing it. So then it's easier to find the time blocking, which we know we need to do, to be consistent with it, which we know we need to do, to make sure everyone else in your home know what you're working towards. So, you could keep that consistency. I feel like it goes back to just remember why you're doing it. And then you'll naturally want to do it, and it doesn't become like this chore, because it isn't a time. We all have the same time. Like Sarah, I literally reached out to her. I took your advice and I've been chatting with her. And the reason why she's consistent is because she moves with intention, and she knows why she's doing every action, even if the action is not sexy. 9 times out of 10, it won't be. But the fact that she knows if I do X, I get X, that's what gets her to go from point A to point B. So remember the fun that you're getting out of it at the end.
I love that. If I do X, I get X. Like, that's so brilliant. Like, that's really smart. I love listening to you talk. Both of you guys, you're brilliant. Thank you. I feel like I feel very zen coming off this call. But okay, so we got 2 more fun calls today at 2:00 with Liz. She's going to talk about the new group pillow and the optimal display, which, by the way, completely forgot to do at the show on Sunday. So I need to have another show, another one on Friday. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about how to build an outfit. So I'll be on that one at 2. And then at 3:00, this will be especially good for your girls who might be newer stars or working towards star that might be a part of this group. But I am excited to hear Michelle Gilbert share what she did in January to get to star that quickly. And spoiler alert, it's a lot about sponsoring. So I'm excited to talk with her at 3. So everyone have a great day. Thank you guys both for your input. I'm so excited for my planner, and we'll talk next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.